This is self-publishing news for January the 24th, 2022. And boy, this was a jam-packed and stacked week of news. In fact, I had to kind of pick and choose because there's a lot. All right, I'll move quickly so that way we don't go too long today. Here we go. Coming over from the headquarters of Kindlepreneur, Dave Chesson, my boy over there, actually just sent out an email to everybody talking about, first of all, the importance of goal setting and how there was a Harvard business study put into practice that those who have set a defined goal are 10 times more likely to succeed than those that don't. And those that write their goal down and see it every day are more likely than those who set goals but did not write it down. So at any rate, you see goal setting is fantastic, but that's not the specific item in the news. You scrolled further into his email and he shared about the new ISBN barcode generator. They've actually had it for a little bit already, but one of the things that they added here, thanks to amazing suggestions, we found a couple of ways to improve it. The ability to export with white background, ability to export without a background, improvements for international currency, and a couple of small bug fixes. Folks, it's 100% free. Kindlepreneur.com/ISBN-bar-code-generator. I'll put links in the description down below for the news segment, so you guys have that. All right, moving forward, fine folks over Pro Writing Aid. Now, this is not so much a newsworthy item, but more a good post and very eye-opening. Are you one part of the grammar police out there? Are you the type of person that goes into my comments correcting my language? Then this post is definitely going to be for you. And if not, if you're the type of person who gets constantly corrected on things, you're going to need this. You're going to thank me later on it. So at any rate, they talk a little bit more about the ellipses and its examples and meanings. And the ellipses used to indicate that it was a removal of, some small parts of a dialogue. Okay. Sometimes they're inconsequential, or removing those doesn't really completely remove the context of sharing something. So the period. But a lot of people thought that was just the hard and fast rule, but there are so many other ways to apply the ellipses. This was a conversation I had with the book rescue guest, Robert G. Culp, and I had the pleasure of going through and beta reading his upcoming book that he's releasing. Actually, I think it's already been released. And I saw some ellipses in his stuff, and I'm like, bro, man, you like those ellipses. I'm like, is this kind of like a niche thing? He writes in young adult fantasy. Oh, absolutely. And he even cited the sources and showed me. And I'm like, wow. And it indicates a pause sometimes, that deep pondering thought, almost like they trail off in their thought too. So, yeah. Go take a look at that Pro Writing Aid article. Very, very good. Very insightful. I learned something new. Findaway Voices. We've got you covered on the marketplace, they say. That's right. Marketplace is launching soon. Win a free audiobook launch marketing kit. Marketing, easy for me to say, marketing kit. Your audiobook cover and book blurb are the most important marketing assets you can control, they say. So at any rate, if you plan on getting your audiobook narrated or distributed or published in any type of capacity, try to use Findaway Voices Marketplace. You can get matched up with a narrator of your choosing, and there's a chance that you can win a free audiobook launch marketing kit worth $1,000. They will choose 6 winners in all. It said 2 originally, but now it says 6 on the landing page. So there you go. I can't say enough good things about Findaway Voices, one of my favorite companies, and they also happen to be from Ohio. That can't be half bad. Come on over here to Lulu. I shared some time ago about how you can integrate your Shopify store with your website and Lulu Express. So if you want to fulfill print books through your websites, you can do that through Lulu Express and Shopify. But there is a big issue and discrepancy this past week that they sent out to those that actually used that. They said, please read this short, important email. It's in entirety as it may impact your Shopify store. We received notice that some Shopify store accounts have been logged out of the Lulu Direct app. While logged out, any Shopify orders for a product connected to Lulu Direct will return an error status. This will prevent the order from being processed. Please take the following actions to tell you exactly what you need to do. So if you are currently using Lulu Express by way of Shopify, you're going to want to make sure you go back in, log out, log back in. Let's see here. What else did it say? And that should be pretty much it. Make sure you check back with Lulu. You can always reach out to Lulu support. Let me see here. Go to Lulu at emails.lulu.com to send them an email if you didn't get that notification, to make sure that you get everything corrected and ready. It would really suck if you're spending money like $9 or even up to $30 per month for a Shopify account only to distribute print books through Lulu Express and then find out, oh my gosh, it's been disconnected this entire time. That stinks. Hopefully I helped you dodge the bullet on that. Hey, folks, coming on over here to the folks over at the Alliance of Independent Authors, this nonprofit agency that's organization, that is run for indie authors by indie authors. And at any rate, this week they provided book piracy, what indie authors should do when a book gets pirated. This is a piece that is so thorough. If you've been frightened and you've been suspicious and you've been weary of those pirating your books, this is the greatest article I've read to date. How do you know how it's done? Literally, sometimes you can just go to your Amazon page and see who's selling it. And if you see a seller doing it at new, and, that might be a little suspect if you're not using that distribution avenue, you're going to probably know as soon as you look at it. So, for instance, if you see Book Depository, then chances are very likely you probably distribute through, say, Ingram Spark. Or you might even distribute through expanded distribution. Okay, that doesn't necessarily indicate piracy. There's going to be, let's just say, I don't know, XLY123 is selling your book. That might be suspicious. But they tell you what you should do, how to find it, how to identify those book pirates, and how to snuff them out. So that is one of the things you should definitely look into. I know piracy, it's inevitable. It sucks. It might happen to quite a few of us. We just got to learn how to cope with it in a good, positive way. All right, here we go. Coming on over here. The folks over at Publisher Rocket. I know I was just talking about Kindlepreneur, but this was newsworthy because if you have Publisher Rocket, right, this is my preferred keyword research tool. I also use it for my Amazon advertising campaigns. I do it for competition analysis, and I use it for category selection. Well, they were supporting, so far to date, you could get keywords relevant to the US, the UK, and Germany. All right, this does it all for you. Now, they just added Audible. Big round of applause for Publisher Rocket. I've been waiting for this for a long time. This is fantastic because if you're audiobook publishing today and you're not really sure and you're kind of blindly kind of figuring your way around like, maybe I should use the keywords because AutoSuggest says this over on Audible's platform. Well, guess what? Publisher Rocket does the heavy lifting for you. I am going to let you know, I'll probably do a case study later on this year using Publisher Rocket and that Audible tool as well. But I'm just geeked up that came through. They said it's been 2 years in the making. So very, very cool to see that. All right, moving further forward, talking about audiobooks still. Audiobooks Unleashed has a promotional opportunity coming up, and it is for the vendor Biblioteca between March 1st to the 31st. The sales discount must be 30 to 40%. If you have not been introduced to Audiobooks Unleashed just yet, what are you doing with yourself? Come on now. They're a great platform to use for promotional needs, as well as getting rid of your codes. And also, most recently, they started distributing audiobooks. Now, they do it on a case-by-case scenario, okay? They're going to look at your audiobook and make sure it's going to be a good fit for their platform. So yeah, there's a little bit of a higher barrier of entry versus other audiobook distribution platforms. Have I tried it yet? No. Do I plan to? I'd certainly like to put it on my list of things to do sometime in the near future. Maybe Audiobooks Unleashed will reach out to me and we can kind of chit-chat a little bit more about it. Fine folks over ebook authors have their third annual official Roundup Book Fair, and there is so many different things that you can see in the third annual one. Hang on a second. If you want to go take a look at that, that'll be over ebookfairs.com. Big shout out to Kenny Myers. If you're not familiar with it, it's essentially like a way of putting together your own virtual book fair. Think of it like a book fair, but without all the germs of being with other people and, touching your books and then not buying them or thumbing through them and browsing. And hey, virtual events. Come on, let's just stick with it. Virtual book fairs. Take a look over at ebookfairs.com. They got the 3rd official roundup right now. It's not too late to get yourself involved and probably onto the 4th annual one as well. All right, and last but not least, this comes from the fine folks over at Kobo Writing Life. I am really interested in this one, and I really am anticipating that I'm going to be going and attending this. They are going to be hosting on Thursday, January 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, How to Become a Kobo Bestseller. I've talked about how to become a bestseller ad nauseum about Amazon. But I got to be honest with you, never really fully paid attention to sales ranks on other platforms like Barnes & Noble or Kobo in specific. So this has got me kind of intrigued. I really wonder what's the whole process. I wonder if we're going to get a little bit more data that gets it to where we can set goals to where we can become a number one bestseller over on Kobo's platform. How many sales does it require? What's the erosion like? So in other words, how far out do we go as it starts to lose its rank? So there's so many things that I really want to learn about, and I didn't know until they otherwise put this together. So that will be, again, How to Become a Kobo Bestseller, Thursday, January 27th. Thank you very much to the folks over at Kobo, always putting out some fantastic information. And speaking of, did you find any of these pieces of news useful? Was there anything I possibly missed in the last week? It's quite possible. Let me know inside the comments. Till next week, make sure you tune in for another